I'm Cynthia Whitehead, and I'm a 2012 Phoenix Fellow. In my Phoenix work, I looked at how compassionate care is part of the standards that we use to develop our training programs and make sure that our trainees go out into practice fully competent in every way that they need to be. And to be competent around compassionate care is a hard thing to put into standards. These kind of values are not so easy to define, not so easy to measure. So it's really important that as we develop competencies and outcomes, that we make sure that the important values, just because they're harder to talk about, don't get left behind. We all know that these values are essential and that nobody will be a good healthcare practitioner unless they embed these values in their daily work. So in my project, I looked at recent changes to the formal standards in my discipline, family medicine. And I looked for ways that we could find compassionate care within those standards so that we could use them to build curriculum, to build assessment, so that we will be able to look at the work of our learners, the way they work with their patients, the way they practice, and see compassionate care built into that. So I found that there were places where we might be slipping a little bit, where those values might not be as obvious as we needed them to be. That's not surprising. When we focus on something, we may not be able to focus on everything at once. But I think the impact of my Phoenix work will be to help highlight areas where we're doing well and help highlight areas where we may need to do better. In family medicine, we assume that we are patient-centered and that we provide compassionate care. And I really do believe that we do. How do we make sure that that piece of our discipline that is so fundamental is passed on to the next generations of learners, and that every educational endeavor builds that in? So in terms of the impact of my Phoenix work, my hope is, and I've already begun to do some of this, really to help look at places we can be proud of and places where we need to pay more attention and look at ways to bring forward these important values into all that we do in our education.